He's back there. He just tore all the hair out of his head. I'm sorry, what? Can you turn it up in the lobby? Is there a way to do that?
Did you say up or off?
Up. Oh. Turn it up in the lobby if you can do that too. While they're doing that, can I just have a show of hands that anybody that's been touched by crime in the last year? Okay, put your hands down, please. Yeah. How many people know somebody that has had a crime? I mean, personally know somebody that's had a crime committed? Okay. I trust one of the questions tonight will be solutions when we talk to our staff here, or the staff up here. Okay. We're going to keep working on the sound, but our next question right here.
I'd just like to start out by saying, a little background. I'm of Hispanic descent. I'm a veteran. And I'm just wondering, you're seeing these things happening down in Corning where you're having Mexican drug gangs having activity there and things like that. How has the lack of federal enforcement of our immigration laws contributed to placing more of a burden on law enforcement at multiple levels in our community? And obviously we have our homegrown criminals, but how can we be a part of the solution in dealing with crime that's being conducted or carried out by illegal aliens in our community? Thank you.
Okay. The question is besides having our homegrown criminals, what impact is the people coming across the border illegally having, and then what can we do as citizens to help combat that? But I think citizens combating crime, period, whether they're here illegally or not, I don't care which one of them we catch, let's catch them all, type of thing, right? Are we keeping track of this, Sheriff or Chief, of how many or how many illegals we have that you're catching?
We do book illegal aliens until recently what they're called ICE detainers for Immigration Customs Enforcement. And now, unless they're wanted on a felony somewhere else, the ICE detainers, due to not legislation, but due to court decisions, we can no longer just hold them because they're an illegal alien. They have to have other crimes going with it. But what we see up here in Shasta County and a lot of the rural counties is for marijuana production. It was on the open lands, public lands, but we also see them on private lands now where maybe the private land is owned by someone else, and then they're having these workers work there. We recently have arrested some in our most recent marijuana operations these past few weeks, and they get arrested, they're booked here. If we can deport them and get a hold of ICE, we do that. And again, it doesn't matter if they're Hispanic or what nationality. If they're committing a crime, we do our job, investigate people, investigate it, and let the district attorney and the court process run that out. We've seen less federal prosecution on both hard drugs and marijuana recently, mainly due to staffing and budget issues, but also cutbacks in the federal budget. We've seen our drug monies that we get for our Shasta Interagency Narcotics Task Force, being one of them, also being cut over the last few years.
Okay, thank you. Our next question.
Hello, my name's Barbara Atkinson, and I have a question about the income that you receive annual. 2011, our chief of police at that time was making between $60,000 annual. You're getting $159,120 annually a year. The military law enforcement is getting a piece $81,000. The regular law enforcement is getting $81,000. If we're hurting so much money, how come you got a rate more or less getting over double what our chief of police is getting during 2011? Out of respect for the people that fought for our country, everyone sitting here, I'd like to know who could give us the definition of red, white, and blue on our flag. If you know that's the color, what the definition of the colors are.
I don't know the definition of the red, white, and blue, ma'am, but I have served this country twice in Iraq. Thank you.
Salaries are not made by the chief of police. This is something you want to bring up to your city council. There's a lot of questions about that. He's not the one that sets his own salary. And thank you for your service too, by the way. All right. Okay, let's go to the next question.
But I have the answer to about the income, his income. Why we double raised his income? Why, and why we're hurting for money? How come we got over double what our chief of police was receiving?
I understand the question, but the chief, neither the chief nor the sheriff nor the chief in Anderson or anybody sets they don't come in and say, I want this much money. This is set by the city council, and this is city manager, and this is a question for them. It's like saying, how come I made this much money when I was on active duty? I don't know. They figured it out. All right, but thank you for your question, and thank you for your service. May I have the next question, please?
Robert, I thank you. I served in the Marine Corps in South Vietnam. I feel proud of you. Tom, I'm sorry I have to say this to you because I was hoping Mark would be here to request this. The Igo Ono Trinity Alps School Department sent a letter on June 14th about the marijuana grows at the bus stops, next to the church, next to the school, to this. And so far, we have visited with him on the 5th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th of this month. We haven't seen anything. School's opening, and we got growers that are growing within 100 feet of a bus stop. I know this has trickled down to you, that you have to get on to somebody, but we're trying to do this, and we sent documentation, pictures, addresses, and everything. I mean, you can't get lost. It's right here.
Well, I don't disagree with you. And when he was referring to Mark, Mark is a code enforcement officer for our resource management department, a part of the planning and building department. What I will do is I will personally contact Dale Fletcher. He's the second in command in charge of the code enforcement officer, and find out what they're doing with that. We do have a deputy that assists code enforcement as well, and I believe those were the same ones that you brought to the attention last year or year before, and so we will look into that. Thank you. You bet. I'll take that and I'll get it over to him. If you want to just put it up there on the stage, and then I'll pick it up towards the end of the program. But thank you very much for bringing it to me. Yes, absolutely.